It was one of those moments that burns itself into your memory, the kind that no amount of time can blur. I remember the stale, recirculated air of the hotel conference room, the hum of the projector, the polite applause from the small audience of clients and colleagues. I remember glancing at her across the room, seeing her smile, her head nodding along with the presentation from the outside. Everything seemed perfect. We were a team, a couple that worked and traveled, together balancing our professional ambitions, with a marriage built on trust and shared dreams. Or so I thought. The trip was supposed to be a turning point. Our firm had recently landed a major client, and this conference was our chance to showcase our ideas to solidify a partnership that could redefine our careers. We were excited, nervous, but hopeful. That excitement, I later realized, masked the growing distance between us. I first noticed something was off when she started taking her phone calls in the hallway. At first, I didn't think much of it. Conference calls can be distracting after all, and she was always meticulous about not disrupting others. But as the days went on, it became a pattern. Each call lasted longer each time she returned. Her face was slightly flushed, her smile tight and distracted. I told myself it was just the stress of the conference. I reminded myself that I had no reason to doubt her. That evening, after a long day of back-to-back meetings, we are treated to our hotel room. She suggested we order room service on relax before our big presentation the next morning, but when the food arrived, she picked at her meal, her attention drifting to her phone every time it buzzed. She glanced at it with a mix of eagerness and nervousness, then set it face down on the table. "Everything okay?" I asked, trying to sound casual. She looked up, startled, as if I'd caught her doing something she shouldn't. "Yeah," she said quickly, "just work stuff. Anything I can help with?" "No, it's fine. Just deadlines." She offered a faint smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. I let it go. I didn't want to push her to seem suspicious or controlling, but as the hours passed, a quiet unease settled in my chest. I told myself I was imagining things. She was just stressed. We were both stressed. There was no reason to think anything more. But that night, while she was in the shower, her phone buzzed again. I glanced at the screen, expecting to see a familiar name from our team, or Roan of the clients. Instead, I saw a name I didn't recognize. Jake. The message preview read, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." My stomach dropped. I stared at the phone, my heart pounding. I didn't recognize the name. I didn't know who Jake was, and I had no idea why he was so eager to see my wife when she came out of the bathroom, her hair still damp. I asked her again, Is everything okay?" She hesitated just for a fraction of a second. "Yes, everything's fine. Why do you keep asking?" "No reason," I lied, just making sure. She didn't seem convinced, but she didn't press further. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, her phone's glow still etched in my mind. I felt the first pangs of doubt, the kind that eat away at you, making you question everything you thought you knew. The next day we were busy with back-to-back sessions. I tried to focus on the work, on our presentations, on the clients we were trying to impress, but every time I looked at her, I saw that name. Jake. I saw the message. I saw the way she had hesitated when I asked if everything was okay at lunch. I tried to casually ask about her plans for the evening. "Oh, I'll probably just stay in and go over my notes for tomorrow," she said. "Not meeting." "My eyes sounds good," I said. "I'll do the same." She nodded and quickly changed the subject, steering the conversation back to the conference, but her response only deepened my suspicions. Something wasn't right. That evening after the final session, she told me she was going to call it an early night. She looked tired, her smile faint as she kissed me on the cheek. "I'll see you in the morning," she said before slipping out of the conference hall. I waited a few minutes before following. I told myself I was just checking on her, that I had no reason to doubt her, but as I walked toward our hotel room, I saw her at the end of the hallway. She wasn't heading to her room. She was turning a corner, her phone pressed to her ear, her expression tense and focused. I kept my distance, following her silently. She turned, another corner, then another until she reached a side exit. She pushed the door open and stepped outside. I stopped, peeking out just far enough to see her. She was standing near the back entrance, her arms crossed, glancing around as if waiting for someone, and then he appeared, a man I'd never seen before, mid-30s, well-dressed, confident. He smiled as he approached her, and she smiled back. Now the polite, professional smile she gave, Cleance, this was different, warmer, more familiar. He reached out and she stepped into his arms. I felt the air leave my lungs. I stepped back, my mind racing, my heart pounding so hard I thought they might hear it. I couldn't watch any longer. I turned and walked away, back to the elevator, back to our room. When she returned later, I was sitting in the chair by the window, staring out at the city lights. She smiled when she saw me. I thought you'd be asleep, couldn't sleep, I said. My voice sounded hollow to my own ears. Long day, she said, setting her bag down. I'm exhausted. She crawled into bed without another word. I stayed in the chair staring at the skyline, feeling the weight of what I'd seen pressing down on me. The next morning I waited until she was out of the shower before I brought it up. She was drying her hair, humming lightly, seemingly unaware that her entire facade was about to shatter. I stood by the window trying to find the right words. But there weren't any. Nothing could make this easier. I know, I said. Simply, she froze the towel halfway to her hair. What do you mean? I know about Jake, I said, turning to face her. I saw. You meet him last night? I saw you walk out. To see him, her face went pale and she took a step back. It's not what you think. Stop lying. Interrupted, my voice sharper than I intended. I saw you with him. I saw the way you looked at him. Don't insult me by pretending it's something innocent. Her hands trembled and she looked down, avoiding my eyes. John, for how long? I demanded, how long has this been going on? She hesitated, her silence confirming what I already knew. Finally she said, a few months. I felt a wave of anger rise in me, but I kept my voice steady. You've been lying to me for months, sneaking around, pretending everything was fine, and you thought I wouldn't find out. I didn't mean for it to happen, she said, her voice cracking. It just happened. I never wanted to hurt. You never wanted to hurt me, I repeated bitterly. What did you think would happen? When I found out, did you think I'd just smile and move on? She started to cry, then covering her face with her hands. But her tears didn't move me. Not this. I was too hurt, too angry, too betrayed. I gave you everything, I said. He trusted you and you threw it away for what? For someone you met on a business trip. It wasn't about him, she said through her tears. It was about feeling something again. I felt like I was just going through the motions, like I was losing myself. He made me feel. I don't care how he made you feel. I cut in, my voice cold. You had a choice. You could have talked to me. You could have worked on us. Instead, you chose to betray me. Her shoulders shook as she sobbed, but I couldn't bring myself to comfort her. She had shattered our trust, and there was no putting it back together. I'm leaving, I sighed, finally. She looked up, her eyes wide with panic. Please don't. We can fix this. I'll end it. I'll do whatever it takes. It's too late, I said. You ended this the moment you decided to lie. I can't live like this, constantly wondering if I can believe a single word you say. I packed my things and left the room, ignoring her pleas. The next few days were a whirlwind of emotions. I went back home, stayed with a friend, and tried to process what had happened. The life I thought I had was gone, replaced by the harsh reality of her betrayal. When I finally filed for divorce, she tried again to reconcile. She sent long emails, left voicemails promising to change, to make things right, but I knew I couldn't go back. The trust was gone, and without trust, there was no marriage. In the months that followed, I focused on rebuilding. I found a new place, surrounded myself with supportive friends and family, and began to heal. It wasn't easy. The pain lingered, the questions of what if and why haunting me. But slowly I found strength. I didn't know I had. She reached out a few more times hoping for forgiveness, but I didn't respond. I had already forgiven her in my own way enough to move on, to let go of the bitterness and anger, but forgiveness didn't mean forgetting, and it didn't mean giving her another chance. It meant freeing myself from the weight of her betrayal and choosing to live my life without that burden. Looking back, catching her on that business trip was devastating, but it also set me free. It forced me to confront the truth and make a choice to stay in a broken marriage or to reclaim my own happiness. I chose myself, and in the end, that choice allowed me to find peace and build a life that was truly mine.